red eyes glowing in the dark. No, he'll never miss his mark. Winged helm of darkness blazing in the night. Nightmare sleep beneath him, yearning for a fight. It's war to watch out, he's coming for you. It's war to no doubt, he'll split you in two. It's war to you fool, they paid him with gold. It's war to so cruel, your life isn't so. War to who never seen his face? They just find the mess he makes. Once the friend who holds strong heart. The evil ways tore them apart. Heartstone made him evil, now he shuns the light. Once he was a hero, now he lives to fight. It's war to watch out, he's coming for you. It's war to no doubt, he'll split you in two. It's war to you fool, they paid him with gold. It's war to so cruel, your love has been sold. War to in his black and heart, no redemption will he find. He will quest for power till the end of time. It's war to watch out, he's coming for you. It's war to no doubt, he'll split you in two. It's war to you fool, you beat him with gold. It's war to so cruel, your blood has been sold. War to
No, I am not Warduke. I am also apparently not on the screen at all because my camera doesn't want to work. Wow. Come on. Load in. Lights? No lights. Now the lights. Okay. All right. It's one of those days, folks. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Back again to answer all your questions about Idle Champions. Technically, the show is called Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions, but, you know. I think Thank God it's Friday has a certain ring to it. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about, it's a free time gate weekend. It's a free time gate weekend. There's a new champion on the horizon. There's a new stream, TTRPG live play stream on the horizon. We got some new adventures and variants in Icewind Dale. Yeah. So we've got Martin and Sasha in the mod pod pulling the questions from chat so I can help you out. As a heads up, tomorrow, in Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show, Saturdays, 9 a.m. on this channel. 9 a.m. Pacific. Pacifically. CNE time. We're going to be doing Gaarawarr's Guide to Idle Champions Presents. So this will probably be one of the... Normally it's like an hour of me talking about the topic, and then it's an hour of Q&A. I have a feeling I'm going to be able to cover Idle Champions Presents and how to do the voting and all that kind of stuff and what happens on the stream in less than an hour. So feel free to join us tomorrow for an extended Q&A after after that. I feel like that probably can handle that in a little less than an hour. But people have had lots of questions, so we're gonna dig into that. The first question in the document, it wasn't even from chat. It was just from Martin. Martin's like, Birdsong, Sasaspia, or Rosie? Not Rosie. Not Rosie. I used Sasaspia yesterday on stream on my channel as a healer for extreme heat. I like Sasaspia. Birdsong's good too, and Birdsong has that double duty of DPS and support, so a little more flexible in the usage. But yeah, I think you could go well either way. We're probably going to get a lot of questions about what to choose for your time gate. So just so you know, just put which 3 options you have, and if you are a newer player who still hasn't done Split the Party 1 or 2, note which ones. Note if you already have someone or what slots you have in. Because that's part of the decision making process, right? It's part of the decision making process. Argoston, Black Viper, or Wolfgar. Normally I use the Companions of the Hall. Well, if you use the Companions of the Hall, then you want Wolfgar, right? I mean, that's the tank for their group in this game, at least. Juxie, Rosie, or Morgaine. I would go Morgaine. Morgaine a little bit better in their current form. Tormentum, Deacon, Warden, or Lazap. Slart 1 already has enough champs for Split the Party, but the other 2 don't. Wow, this makes it a challenge because Deacon's a great speed champion to have, and you want Deacon. You do. You do. But if you're going for Split the Party, then Warden. Is the code for... Wasn't there a code for Warden? Or was that something else? Maybe I'm thinking about something else. It's probably expired by now anyway. Tormenta. Oh no, that's the one I just did. Karabakh, Birdsong, or Cathris. I would go Cathris. Yeah. Captain Idjit. What's wrong with Rosie? Maybe it's because I don't have a lot of champions yet, but she's one of my best DPS. You're probably not using Ashara correctly. Is why Rosie's one of your best DPS. Rosie's her tuning is just kind of low. In part, it feels like. The other part is like her kit. Yeah, it's tough. Hold on. Let me pull up Rosie and let's just... Here's Rosie. I want to preface, I am a huge fan of Grandmother Knight, which is Rosie's other name. Rosie Beestinger. Played by Kate Welch. Kate is wonderful. So I'm a big fan. But, yeah. So part of the... Here's one of the things. Sassy increases base damage to Rosie by 100% for each champion younger than her in the formation. Well... the best champions aren't necessarily going to be younger than her. It's nice if that happens, but for 100% you don't build around it, right? So we've already got an ability that's kind of like, doesn't matter. Deflect missiles. This is a defensive thing, so she deflects ranged and magic attacks targeting her or adjacent champions. This is nice for a support champion, but she's a DPS. Hold on, we'll have her right back up on the screen because I have tons of favor. So yeah. Busy Bee Stinger reduces the time between Rosie's attacks by 0.5 seconds and increases her damage by 100% for each C-Team champion in the formation. This is actually nice, but it requires you to use other C-Team members, right? Like if you really want to get a lot for it. And the biggest thing you're getting isn't the damage bonus, it's the 0.5 seconds on her cooldown. Because getting her to attack faster raises your butt up, right? Shadow Arts, every 5th attack, Rosie does a whirlwind, hitting all nearby enemies for 50% of her base damage. So she has a built-in AoE too, right? So it's like, it feels like right off the bat, well, right, you've got upgrades, spec. This makes Sassy better, but only for female champions that are younger than her. So you're getting even more restrictive with this kind of ability. And From the Shadow is just like, hey, it boosts Shadow Arts by 300%. Okay. We'll take that, right? Shadow Arts is the whirlwind. So now she's doing an AoE on her 5th attack for 200% of her base damage. So then that becomes her damage spike. Like, the single target stuff that she does is, oh, great, you know. Let her attack real quick, but every 5th attack is when she actually does her burst, and it's an AoE. And that's it, really, right? So her problem is, Timeless Body reduces the number of attacks required to trigger Shadow Arts by 1, right? Like, she gets some other, other things. But the issue is that she has all these abilities, but the only one that actually helps her damage isn't really super helpful, and that's Sassy. It's really just kind of a minor bonus. It's nothing that's really going to be super amazing. Like here, I've got 7 of them right now, but again, you don't really build around it. This isn't really a built in a pushing formation. It's an EO7 buff. It's like, okay. Here's the Busy Bee Stinger. But yeah, it's like she's got like a support ability. One that doesn't really work. One that's keyed only to the other C team people. And then when you do put her in a C team formation, what's doing the most damage is whoever has the demon on them from Cathris. I mean, she's technically setting that stage, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, she's just in a very underwhelming place, and it's unfortunate. I've used her for things, but honestly, the most use I've seen out of her was that support ability for Deflect Missile to help, get rid of pesky Xanathar rays or stuff like that, right? Yeah. Vampish Gibbon, Ishii or Ariza. I prefer Ariza, but some people, I guess, are picking up Ishii lately to use for Ashara's short folk bond, which confuses me because that's not great. Hold on, do we have breaking news? Breaking news. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Hold on, now I gotta find everything again. The Champion Spotlight is out, folks. It just dropped. So we're going to pause questions for a moment. Champion Spotlight is when we find out the basic kind of information and explanation of the upcoming champion that's arriving in the next event. This coming event being Liar's Night, starting Wednesday, noon Pacifically. Arriving in Liar's Night, Habam! Brig Hellclaw. Brig is Jason Charles Miller's character from Sirens. Sirens of the Realms, aka Sirens of the Realms. Pretty neat. Here we go. First look live right now. So I want to preface this. You can't tell if a champion is good or bad by their champion spotlight. You can't. You can see what their kit is going to do, like kind of like what is their functionality and stuff, but you can't tell if they're good or bad until they come out in the game and you can actually see their upgrades and stats and everything. So Briggs is going to come in as a bard and a support champion, and slot 3 with Nayeli and others. What do we got? Eligible for Merton Zariel as patron. Ooh, look at this key art. Guessing this is another Ivy de Plume. Look at that evil Liar's Night. Gotta love it. All right. For those of you who don't know, and how do you not know this already? Jason Charles Miller, the Bard, for Bardic Inspiration. So all those awesome songs that we have in game and the new ones, the one I just played at the beginning of the stream, comes straight from Bardic Inspiration. Finally getting his own champion. Briggs' abilities: War Loot. Now he's just got a ode to War Loot instead of War Duke. Oh no. Brig leaps out and smashes a random enemy with his metallic guitar. Really? Root beer time. I mean, yeah. I hope it's a magical guitar so it doesn't take any damage. Formation abilities. Hype! Brig increases the damage of everyone in the formation by 100%. This value is increased based on his hype stacks. Of course he's a hype bard. For each hype stack, the buff is increased by 10%, stacking additively, and then applying multiplicatively. This is, yeah, it's pretty standard. Hype! Rallying Chord. Brig's hype is increased by 5, while at least one enemy has been defeated in the past 10 seconds. I already know some people aren't going to like that. If no enemy is defeated in the last 20 seconds, Brig gains 1 hype each time a unique champion attacks, up to a maximum of 10 hype. Okay. I mean, at least he's got something to help carry him. That's good, that's good. So it looks like all of this is feeding into hype. So already this is reading a lot like Evelyn's kit, where everything feeds into her one ability. I like the way that one works. Inspired Bar. Brig's hype is increased by 1 for each adjacent champion. It increases by an additional stack for each adjacent champion whose listed attack damage is higher than his. Whose listed attack damage is higher than his. Are they talking... This one has me curious. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see exactly how that... Are we talking like on the base DPS list? Are we talking in the running average list? Are we talking what, like... Where are we talking listed attack damage? So yeah. I guess I want more information on that one. It could be the stat... Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. So I don't know. But this reads like you want... This kind of affects a little bit how you might want to build your formation. I mean, I wouldn't... For 1 hype, I don't know that I'm going to be super aggressive over it, but... Oh, jeez. Blue octopus. Well done. But this is one of those situations where when you're building a formation, you want to make sure he's not getting buffs and everyone around him is. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Critical moment. Oh. Brig's hype is increased by 1 for every 5 enemies on the screen, rounded up. Okay. Okay. So you can get up to 20 stacks. That's okay. It's increased by an additional 10 whenever a boss enemy is on the screen. Okay. Okay. Volume up. Increase the damage bonus of hype based on the highest number of hype stack that Brig has ever had at once. The increase is 5% per high step, stacking multiplicatively before playing. Okay, so right away, for volume up, I feel like you want to go somewhere where you can tank 100 enemies. And just at least pick up that critical moment. I mean, you get 20 stacks off that. And then try to figure out how to get more. Just so you can have that. So you can have volume up at least maxed out. Because it's ever had it once. So it's going to track it. Okay. Okay. Specializations. Backup singer. Please. Maybe on sirens. Brig gains 2 hype stacks for each champion in front of him in the formation. Cream of the crop. Brig gains 2 hype stacks for each champion in the formation whose listed attack damage is lower than himself. These are interesting. All right. I feel like you go backup singer and you place him in the back, right? Right? I don't know. Feels like that right off the bat, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Low-Jack 5. Volume up could be gotten big on those bosses that spawn infinite enemies. Well, they don't spawn infinite enemies. It still stops at 100. There's a max of 100 enemies on the screen at once. So you would still get... so potentially 20 for the enemies and 10 for the boss, unless the boss counts as one, but then it rounds up. So yeah, you'd get 30 there. That would be where you'd want to do it. That would be where you'd want to do it. Ultimate ability, Solo. Brig performs a killer solo with flashing lights and musical notes flying everywhere. I can't wait to see this. Damaging and pushing enemies back with massive sound power. For the next 30 seconds, Brig's hype stacks are increased by 11. Turn it up to 11. Of course they did. Of course they did. I mean, they had to. They had to do a turn it up to 11 joke somewhere, right? We see double damage all champions. We see a hype bonus. We see a volume up bonus. Interesting. And then ultimate and ultimate cooldown. Okay, so they're really going all in on hype and volume up. Hype being what everything feeds into, including volume up. But this is that maximum one, which is interesting because I feel like you can just do a setup and have this pretty... You can figure out, you can theory craft how to get this super max right from the beginning, and then you never have to worry about it ever again. Ever, ever, ever again. Hype is not a positional formation ability, so Brig is not a support for Artemis or Archon. Because Hype is everyone in the formation. So, alright, that's Brig Hellclaw. This is the best. This is the best picture. We're just going to leave it right here for a second. Yeah. Brig Hellclaw. Coming soon to a formation near you. Coming soon. Bam. And we're back. And we're back. Okay, Lucy, let me put this in chat. Yeah, the closed captions did not like how I pronounce things sometimes. I'm trying, I swear. All right, back to the questions. Shane, 169. Artemis, Darius, or Black Viper? I used to put Artemis lower on the favorability list, but now he's up there. Now I feel like you need Artemis to be able to do a lot of things, like, not necessarily, I mean, you can use them as a DPS, but I use Artemis for Orkira stacking. That makes them higher on my priority list now. If you have Orkira, grab Artemis. He's going to help out your Orkira stacking. Otherwise, I'm not super impressed with any of those, so you could grab whatever you want. Whatever helps you out for split the party 1 or 2. Barrowin or Cathris? I personally prefer Cathris. Target number 4. Oh, that was for Jason. The target number 4, I got Talon or Rosie. Talon. Dogtron, new player, and it was a choice between Artemis, Binwin, and someone I already had. Not feeling great about this one. Artemis. Grab Artemis. I like Binwin, but Artemis is, at least has some functionality in helping you later on. You have a lot of DPS, so Binwin isn't necessarily like a priority right away. Nefs or Sentry, already have. Wolfgar or Neris? Neris. Unless you just want that gold fine tank for your Azaka farming formations, and then you grab Wolfgar. The Cutis, Ishi or Krydle? Oh. You're paining me. Krydle. That one hurt. Orion the Wise. Hi, Gar. Finally just split the party too. Nice! I have Paulton or Birdsong as new champion options. Paulton. Cyrus Black. Literally this morning I unlocked Jarlaxle's Fortune's Favor feat from the Merc Patron Shop. Nice. It was also included in the Powered Chest promotion. No. It wasn't. If you're talking about the overpowered weekend with Baloth, Delina, Jamila, Havilar, and Sentry, that is a 50% for Baloth, not Jarlaxle. Different drow, same slot. Different drow, same slot. See? This is Baloth. So, unless you're talking about a different weekend? Unless you're talking about a different weekend that I don't remember. But you can't get a duplicate. You can't get a duplicate for a feat for the same champion. Sometimes they'll have the same feat name for different champions. But yeah, those are different. Yeah. folks. This doesn't, yeah. But yeah, there's a different draw. Grungy Gelfling, Avron, Xander, and Keelik. Avron. 100% Avron. He's overpowered. My son got... Yes, Todd, I said that. My son got Esmeralda, Shandy, and Zorbo. Ooh. Esmeralda is coming up. Yes. Oh, that's true. Avron and Esmeralda are coming up in the next event, so in just a few days. So you don't have to do Avron, and you can mark off Esmeralda. Your son wants to grab Shandy, regardless. Get that, Shandy. And then I guess, Grungy Gelfling, you want Keelik. You want Keelik, since you're getting Avron in like 5 days. Normally it would be Avron and Shandy, anyway, those options. Pug Sandwich, Xander or Alindra? I prefer Alindra. Destro Jamal. What happens when I get a shiny item that is already shiny? In the rare situation that happens, because it usually it requires that you have full shiny on wherever the shinies are falling. But in this situation, because of the giveaway that we had, you could get a shiny on top of a shiny for Baloth today. You get 125 item levels on that item, so it's a big boost, because normally like an epic duplicate is only 8 item levels. So a shiny's 125. So you got a big boost to whatever you got a duplicate on. Tagama, does Bud take AoE into account? It is the highest hit to a single enemy. So even if you'd hit 100 enemies at once, it's just counting whatever the damage was to one of them. It's not totaling up the damage for your Bud. Now, Trials of Mount Tiamat totals up your damage for your personal damage contribution, but Bud does not. Bud is just the highest damage done to a single target. Silverion, do we know what other champions Briggs of N is with? Yes, Esmeralda and Avron. The way you can find this out in game is you go to the Achievements tab, you bring up events, you scroll all the way down to the bottom. Liar's Night, right there. Boom. Krond, time gate only champion. Dinar, time gate only champion. Avron and Esmeralda, though, these are our event champions. These are the two most recent, and Brig will be joining them. So remember, it's only giving you events only give you the two most recent. The two most recent are going to be the ones at the bottom. These others, Krond and Dinar, only available from time gates. Only available from time gates. What does listed attack damage mean? Pfft, you got me. Chester Stone. Sir Gaarawarr Esquire, what is your favorite champion at the moment? In terms of just like lore, and how they arrived in the game up till now, Mehen. Not a great champion, unfortunately. But I love Mehen in the Brimstone Angel novels. I love the way he arrived, in that his formation was a heart for his daughters. I love that his kit is built around his daughters, and he's just garbage without them. Like as a, as the father, like that just seems like, he does everything for his girls, and I think overall that's just fantastic. Unfortunately, it falls a little flat in gameplay. Still my favorite character. Before that, it was Black Viper, in terms of just the style and the story, and Vivid Vidka's portrayal in the old Dice Camera action shows. Like, especially if you've never seen, there is an episode of Dice Camera action that I think is worth seeing, even if you've never watched any of the others, and even if you never watch them again. It was almost done like a stage play, but it was D&D in a stage play. So it was like a LARP. It was like a live D&D LARP on stage. All of them in costume. No dungeon master. No dungeon master at all. And it had Felicia Day showed up at one point playing a character and has one of the funniest on-screen moments, like just oops, and then goes with it moments, like which you have to do, when you're acting. One of the funniest moments I've ever seen. But Black Viper, Vivid Vidco's there, portraying Black Viper, and it was just fantastic. Hunt that down. It was at a convention. I don't remember what it was called, but oh, so good, so good. Tagama, do you think volume up carries between resets? Yes, it says ever, like of all time, like their highest ever. So yeah. Or Green Paradox with the pun questions, so they are spinal tapping into the meta there. Yeah. Yep. Gab454, hi Gar, could you explain the bug fix that involves Briv in the changelog, please? I can, actually, because I was one of many people that reported this. If you haven't opened up the changelog today, check it out. At least on Steam, we're up to 407. Today's one is major memory leak patched, so hurrah. You know, that doesn't mean that all the memory leaks are gone, but hey, if they got one out of the way, that'd be good. That's nice. If we come down here to 406, fixed an issue that caused Briv to set the highest available area to a lower one. So what was happening was people were putting Briv in right away, like at stage 1. And then Briv's skips would kick in, and this Briv would skip his way to wherever. And then at some point, for whatever reason, like you'd hop back to level 1, like maybe to Orkira stack or something. And the game would think that you hadn't done anything. Like if you skipped level 2, basically, completed level 1 and then skipped, the game just looked at it as like, oh, you've never completed level 2, so you're obviously still in level 1, and it reset all your progress, and then you had to grind your way back up, but out of skips, right? Because you'd burned them all to get to the end game already. Yeah. That's what got fixed. It didn't happen all the time. But it happened. You know what I was going to do? Hold on, let's get out of this. I don't want to just sit here. I meant to do this at the top of the stream. I'm gonna choose my time gate. Bam, free time gates. This is what a free time gate weekend looks like, folks. If you haven't clicked on your screen yet, it's always going to show that it's free up here. So you're not spending your pizza. You're not spending your pizza on it. I had pizza for lunch. It was good. I own all 3 of these though, and they're all in epic gear. So for me, my decision-making process is who has the lowest average item levels. Birdsong's sitting at a 191, Keelix at a 128, Lucius 118. So I'm going to go Lucius. These numbers here on the side, this 50, 75, these are the goal levels that you have to get get the first 2 chests. There's also going to be a variant chosen at random. But like if we go down here somewhere, do I have somebody at a higher? Who did I grind out recently? Oh, here. Corazone's sitting at 200, 225, because recently I just went and tried to farm his gear, and I did get him to full epic. So yeah, it'll go up, and then as you don't select them in the future, it goes back down again. So let's get this Lucian party started. You will see 3 options, but this is regular adventure, variant. I got the harder variant. I got the complete area 175. Woohoo. So if I didn't already own Lucius, I would get Lucius as a reward plus a gold chest. These are 2 other gold chests. And then silvers here are not based on grinding. Like you don't get extra chests grinding free plays. That's an event thing. Silvers here are based on unique 100 levels you go. So as we go along, leveling up through here, I will get silver chests just automatically dumped into my inventory. Every 100 areas, so we will look at that as we go. Let me throw down... Here's what I do. You don't have to do this. I throw down some speed potions, I throw down a fire breath, and I throw down a clairvoyance. And then I stop leveling up that. And then whatever I get to in that hour or less is what I consider good enough. Good enough. And then I reset, and then I do that again on the second one, and then I call it a day or I might just squeak a little more to grab 1 more silver chest, and then I call it a day. I do the variant, and then I'm done. And then I close my time gate. It's all done in like 3 hours or less. Disturb Damien. If you have 100 enemies on the screen, click a distraction. Enemies pop out of distraction. You have more than 100 on the screen. So enemies don't always come out of a distraction. And I am not sure in that real weird edge case scenario if they would come out. That's a dev question, but that's real edge case, and I don't even know if they know. Yeah. Excalibur Storm, I have a free time gate. Who should I pick? Darius, Cthulhu, or Ryza? I would go with Cthulhu on that one, if I'm being honest. Hold on, did this not load? I thought it did. Nope. There we go. Now I don't have to click those annoying specializations. Several potatoes. Speaking of Orkira, I've been offered both Narak and Artemis. Ooh, which would you recommend taking first? Artemis. Artemis does way more for Orkira than Narak does. For Orkira stacking. Baby Yoda. Noob question. Where do I see Spurt's Waspiration buff stacks? That's not a noob's question. It's not. Nowhere. Nowhere. Spurt's been less than informative for a few years now. Yeah. At some point, I would like to see him made informative. Loki, Rommel, Narak, or Korth? Narak. Narak. Andrew Raven, Narak or more Briv chests? Narak. Project Q, Talon or Darius? Talon. I guess I should give a reasoning behind this, behind whenever I say Talon over Darius. Talon has a debuff. He also has some CC. I mean, Darius is, he provides he's a caster for a base attack caster magic for Alcoria, but Talon's probably bigger, usually like more important currently. Doesn't mean it'll always be that way. Regarding Orkira stacking from a bit stodgy, is Archon's Hand of Vecna a big increase to healing stacks? Not really. Archon, Narak, and Alcoria are the big boosters, and then Artemis, Narak, and Alcoria, and then the magic DPS to stack around Artemis for Alcoria. Those are bigger deals. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the feat. Calabale, who's the champion on the middle of the formation? I don't know now. Hold on. I don't remember. Somebody tell me who was on the middle. Who was in the middle of my other formation? It might have been a Ryza. Like I'm thinking speed formations. It might have been a Ryza. Here, let's do this. Let me go. Oh, I'm running background parties. Yeah, I think it was a Ryza. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to close out this thing. I was running 2 background parties in 10-man formations, or 10-person formations, specifically just for the buff, the damage buff, when I was trying to do patron variants yesterday. I mean, when you're really close, or when you're trying to see just how far you can go on patron variants, you take whatever you can get. Hey, I got the black screen bug everybody's been complaining about. Hey, look, folks, it happens to everybody. Happens to everybody. Hey, how about some nerds, folks? You want some nerds? This is what I put up when I have to restart my client. Yeah. Ayla, Narak, or Nox for Moodalorn. Ayla. Big Ayla energy. Big Ayla energy. All right, get back down here. Come on. Man. This specific black screen is new. So let's go back to the Sword Coast. I'm going to go back into a speed formation and let's see what I'm just going to look. It won't load anything in because they're all in another party, but I'm going to look at what my speed formation is. Yeah, that was a Ryza. That was a Ryza in her pirate outfit. All right. We're done. Now go back to the other formation. Is it going to black screen again? Cuddle Guts, Morgaine or Cathris? Morgaine. Baron, I did it. Black screened again. I didn't. Nobody. I left the nerds thing up. Apologies, folks. There wasn't anything to see. It was a Ryza in the middle, and then it black screened again. So now I'm restarting again. So apparently, folks, here's my PSA for the day. Don't swap between parties, cause it broken, and you black screen and you got to restart your client. Until this is on Steam. This is on Steam. So until they fix that. Until they fix that, maybe set it and forget it. Set it and forget it, maybe. Okay, hold on. I'll get the game back. Hey, look, the game's back. I got people saying that's happening on Epic as well. So yeah. Baron Ugly. I've now split the party too. Nice. Got automation on my speed core at level 3 and unlocked 3 patrons, and I feel like I'm getting somewhere. Now I can't decide whether to use my time gate pieces to get new champions I can't properly gear. First off, Electrums will gear them up to blue, which is satisfactory. Or to try to gear up my current champions 3 gold chests at a time. Is there a meta answer to this? Yeah, I mean, I would still pick up, start looking at those, if you don't have all of the meta champions, start trying to pick those up. Also, for your patrons, you're going to want a wide bench. Or a deep bench. Both. Deep and wide. So yeah, picking up new champions is great. Just, again, try to pick up things that are going to help, like, get a lot of options in each slot for you. Don't go all in on one slot or something like that. And then just let Electrums gear them up. Electrums will gear them up to blue naturally, and you get like 25 or more Electrums every week, so that will be helpful. Karana Raccoon, Stokey or Cathris, either one. So look to see what's going to help you with split the party. Otherwise, pick whichever one looks cool to you, or gives you a useful swap. Like if you're having issues with something. Jukesy, I have 30 gate pieces to burn this weekend. Wow. I have all speed champs and a pretty solid core. Who are some good niche characters to consider for specific setups, e.g. Artemis for Akira stacks? So Artemis and Narak for Akira stacking. 100%. Narak will also help you with... Did I not? I thought I... Yeah, no, it's... Huh. Okay. Narak will also help you with Azaka farming. Who else? Who else am I finding? And Artemis is actually going to be good for some Zerial patron stuff. Like I said, I mean, I don't know what you said your core is solid. Like, you have Avrin and Orkira and Ayla and Briv and Baloth and Freely. Grama. I'm naming off the ones that I usually use for deep pushing. I mean, yeah, if you got all those, then it just starts looking at like which patron issues, like places are you having issues with, and try to fill in the holes for your patrons for options there. Yeah, it starts to get harder as far as who to choose the further you get. So Revolver Rudolph. Rudolph's just tired of all the Christmas anger. It started a few days ago. Welcome. Don't know who to pick in the time gate. Orkira, Evelyn, or Spurt. Orkira. Orkira is the queen of debuffs. She's going to do you right. She's also got really solid heals. So as a slot 1 swap for Brunor, it's real solid. That's a real solid pick that you're going to use for a very long time. Co-Brain Matter, Stokey or Black Viper? Either one? Stokey's more a support. Black Viper's a DPS, so if you want a little more flexibility, go with Stokey. Binwin or Lucius? Bin it to win it. Yeah, in that option, I would bin it to win it. Maciel, I chose Black Viper over Krond. Sure. I always hear people talking about her, but never anyone talking about Krond. Is he good? There are people who really like Krond. They are big Krond fans. He's got some good scaling, but he wants like a very specific formation. He's all about the strength. I'm stronged. I don't know. Yeah. So there are people that are really into him and have gone all in on him, but yeah. High explosives. That's good. Timegate, Paulton, Evelyn, which they own, or Sergeant Knox, Paulton. Loki Gromrill, Dadius, or Mehen. Man, I really want to say Mehen, but Dadius is more useful. Gregarious, I got the shiny Baloth loot, but I don't have Baloth. Will I see the card when I get Baloth, and can I see the loot before getting Baloth? You will get the card when you get Baloth. No, you cannot see it before then. It goes into Baloth's closet, and when he arrives, he will take it out and show it to you. Tobar, different for each person? Yeah, all time gates are different for each person. Snobbager, I assume that's what you're talking about. That's all the context I got out of the question. Snobbager is the extreme heat bug fix, the variant that you wouldn't do for patrons because it wasn't damaging the party correctly. Yes, and we did it yesterday. So I did Strahd's extreme heat, smoked it. Absolutely smoked it with Sisaspia and a couple other, and Regis and somebody else on heals. Keelik. More than enough heals. The key there for that one is just you don't upgrade. You don't even have to put tanks in, but if you put tanks in, you don't upgrade them unless you need to. So you keep the total overall health in the party low so your healers can constantly top you off. Yeah, we flew right through it though. 17's a pun. If you didn't have any of the free champions, what would you select? Well, no, that's not how time gates work. So time gates are going to give you 3 free options. And you need to tell me which 3 options you have. And then I can tell it because everybody has unique 3 options. It's, yeah. How do you view item levels, Kale Leonel? Well, if you want to see all of them, like, or at least if you want to see all the ones for champions that you have 6 pieces of gear on, you come into your inventory, you hit the blacksmithing contract, and it brings up this screen. This will show you every champion you own that has a piece of gear in every slot. So if you have new champions that don't have any gear, they're not going to show up here. Or if you have some and they've got 1 empty slot, they're not going to show up here. But once you have all 6, they show up here, and they'll show you the average item levels for each one. For me, I have an average item level floor of 100, except for the newest champion, who I have not gotten the last epic on. Yeah, here we go. Keelik. Or not Keelik. Dahani. Oof. Unreal. That was bad. Yeah. So I need the epic sash, which I will get out of a time gate, most likely, or a patron chest, one or the other. I've got plenty of time gate pieces, so I can time gate Dahani, grab this, and then I will dump some blacksmithing contracts to get her up to 100. And as long as you just exit out of that screen, you're fine. See, folks, I'm at 400. I've got 4 Silver Lucius chests. It didn't come off bosses. It just automatically throws them in your inventory. When I beat 500 here, if we beat 500 here, there it goes. It will grant me a new one. And I probably have to refresh. There. Now it's at 5. That's how it works. That's how going. Now, when I do my next run, if going past 500, it's not going to give me 5 more. It's not going to give me 5 more, but yeah, there's the weekend chests are out, folks. If you signed up for the newsletter, which you do up here, newsletter, enter your email, you get Hitch for free, and then you get a chest for free every weekend. Do that. They are being delivered. I got mine before the stream started, but I also signed up for the newsletter 4 years ago. So they do them in order. So yours may be arriving a little later. What does the small white border inside some items mean? Tendy Man. Depending on the color, I mean, they can sometimes both look white, but one is a shiny. One indicates indicates that it is a shiny item. And this one, that's the slightly yellow. It still could look white through Twitch. Is a golden. This is what we call gilding. When you gild an item, it's shiny or golden. This is a 50% bonus to the power of the item. This is a 100% bonus to the power of the item. Shinies can come randomly out of any chest that drops gear. There's a 1 in 1,000 chance with no pity timer. These tend to only come from the cash shop. There's a couple out there that come from the patron store, and there have been some meta events that gave them out, but that's pretty much it. You know what? I'm done with this push. What I'm going to do, though, is save specializations, and then I'm going to go peace out. We only went for like 15 minutes, but I got to 500. That's fine. What I want to do now is I want all the favor I just got from that run, and I'm going to use it. Oh, geez, that was a lot of favor. I'm going to use it now to go even further in the same time frame on the next adventure. And I'm going to go ahead and throw down the same stuff that I did before. And boom, now I've got all my champions out pre-level 10. I've got my full formation, and that's going to be able to grind and get me even further. All right. Is Wolfgar a proper tank? Is he good? Ooh, there's some shade in this question. Here's the problem I have with Wolfgar. Is he a proper tank? Yes, in the sense that he has health upgrades and health share, so he can and an overwhelm number, high overwhelm number, can exist in the front line. Yeah, yes, absolutely. No shade. It was a legitimate question. Well, agree to disagree. No, I believe you, but there's still some shade that you may not have intended the shade, but there's some shade contextually in this question. He has a health item, right? Like, so he has this stuff. He has a way to, he has this stun system that ramps up your damage. Like, that's his kind of ramping damage. If he stuns a boss, he has like a small temp HP shield. His is balanced, folks. Oh my god, there's a balanced shield on a tank. How long do we have to live with Ayla and Tyrell with 1,000% with these huge shields when they've balanced the tank before with shields? Here's his health share. Here's the thing. Increase the damage of all companions of the hall for each enemy attacking Wolfgar. So what they did is they put his ramping buff, which is usually the big buff for tanks. They made it companions of the hall only. So they really pigeonholed Wolfgar. You can use him with anyone, but you're losing out on one of his bigger buffs because, well, on what normally is one of the bigger buffs for a tank, because it only applies to companions. So yeah, he's okay. He's not super great. Like I said, his shield at least is balanced. Go player 7. I think we're back to the 100 enemies cap. Can you use mints to have additional enemies come out? Not above 100. Like, what it does is it counts the numbers that are spawning, and it's just going to stop you at 100. That's what the game does. Like I said, there may be a rare edge case with the distraction, but distractions don't always drop that. I think they have a chance to drop things, so it might just block that. But you're not going to get... Even if you clicked a distraction, it dropped 2, like one of those bushes, and 2 enemies popped out. You're getting to 102. It might get you 1 more stack of that Brig thing. Brig. Now we're going to have Brig and Briv. And I'm never going to be able to pronounce the right name. If you're still a baby, is it worth keeping the gate open to take advantage of the favor conversion? I don't know what that means. Or am I best closing the gates and just going back to progression? I mean, I assume if you're still a new player, you're going to get your favor conversion regardless. If you're newer, you're not going to be able to push that far and get that much favor anyway. The real goal of the time gate is just to grab as many chests as you can easily grab. Like, you want to try to grab all 3 of the gold chests. It's worth working for those. Not necessarily working for lots of silvers. And the favor is just a bonus. Favor is just a bonus. Tagama, for new champions, is an optimal chest order. Electrums to green, champion silvers to champion gold. Well, I mean, just the general order is electrums, silvers, golds. Personally, I save up all my electrums and I open them in bulk when I get the new champions. And then I open the specific named chests. Silver's first, then gold second. I mean, if you want to get real picky about it so that you can save some chests for the electrums for the future, then yeah. Get the newest champion to full green, to at least minimum green gear, then switch to champion silvers. That's if you're trying to save some electrums. Infinite Monkeys. Barwin, Cathris, or Esmeralda. Esmeralda's coming up in the next event, so it's really just down to Barwin and Cathris. They really shouldn't have dropped Esmeralda considering the event, or Averin, considering their events coming up. But I feel like the time gate system, the protection from getting champions near and during the events has broken completely. Because people were able to time gate a champion during their event, in the last event. So be aware. Barwin or Cathris, I find more use out of Cathris. Sir Bob's a lot. So just followed your guide on Split the Party and completed it. Woohoo! Brunor survived the whole thing. Brunor conspiracy continues. I know there have been some people who have said that they lost Brunor, but that feels like the people that keep Brunor through Split the Party, through all of Split the Party, way outweigh the number that don't. Brunor conspiracy. Blank Dog Swarm, can you share your thoughts on Morgane? How best to use her? Sure. I should probably switch this back. Not that you can see, but I've got Havilar out. In her Ascendant Havilar skin from Trials of Mount Tiamat. Looks super cool. Aaron M. Evans says it's very Mesopotamian inspired, and even the imps, you can see them over here on the left, have outfits too that are very Sumerian warrior outfits. And the helms and the cloaks and the wristbands. And this black axe is like a vestige of a god. Nana Sin, I believe, is the name. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, Morgane. Morgane's over here. Gaarawarr, come on. Morgane comes to us from Acquisitions Incorporated, the A team. Morgane is a high elf ranger who likes to make money. You want something killed, just pay up. Very much a mercenary. And that's how her ability works. Her main ability works. Morgane does have a permanent stacking ability. However, it's not like she's a support, so it's not like the DPS champions where you got to go kill stuff. Morgane's all about how much gold have you earned with me in the formation. So really what it comes down to is putting Morgane in when you're Azaka farming, just for a little bit. Just to top her off. When you're getting more gold you've ever gotten before, you put Morgane in and you raise up her buff. They give her what is almost like a DPS ability, whereas if her first arrow kills her target, the second arrow causes the enemy to drop a second set of gold. Okay, but she's not a DPS champ. So that rarely comes into play. Paid up front, Morgane collects 25% of all gold dropped by enemies, but in turn increases the damage of adjacent champions by 1%. Increased by 5% for each order of magnitude the gold that Morgane has collected, stacking additively. Their collected gold count persists through resets. This is her permanent stacking ability. You can tell, total gold for me, E176 is the order of magnitude I have reached. I need to go on a deep run. I could up this. I need to go on a deep run and raise this again. Friends and Wealth increase the damage of all champions by 100% for each gold find champion in the formation. She has a gold roll, so this counts for her, but she does not provide you extra gold. Just putting that out there. She takes your gold. She takes it. Pockets it. She has ultimates, like different arrows that come out for ultimates. They do different things. Pretty neat. But her specializations make her one of the most useful champions in terms of, like, she's super flexible in terms of placement. So it starts off fine as is, so her buff applies to adjacent champions, but you can make it, under Keep Your Distance, you can make it apply to non-adjacent champions, which is if you put her off in the corner of a formation and then it applies to everybody else. Monster Fodder makes it apply to only to champions in front of Morgane, and then Stay Out of My Way only applies to champions behind Morgane, so you can really focus it in on where you want it, right? Where is she in this formation? Hold on. All the way at the top. Okay. So I will go Keep Your Distance. Next up, Keep It Simple. This just is a straight up quadruple bonus, 300%. 4x bonus. Tight formation increases the effect by 75% for each champion adjacent to Morgane. So this is if you can put her in the middle of a formation that has 5 or 6 around her, tight formation becomes better than Keep It Simple, right? This is she's very much optimized for math based off the formation. Calm Under Pressure. This is a ramping bonus. Ramps up to 20 enemies that are attacking tanks. So this is if you can put her within 2 slots of your tank or all your tanks, she can give you a ramping bonus, which is nice. And this totals more than Keep It Simple. This can max out at 400%. And then the long game increases the effect of paid up front by 10% for every second that an enemy isn't killed, up to a max of 60 seconds. So that can max out at 600%. So, this is the biggest one, but you have to wait for it. It only works towards your wall. This could be, this is 400. This is the second biggest one if you can surround her by 6 with 6. And then this one, and then this one, right? So you just kind of have to base it off, what's going on. And then she gets another specialization choice, and it's one more of the ones you picked before. So ultimately, you'll get to pick 2 of those big bonuses with Morgane. But yeah, really, it just comes down to when you're talking about paid up front, which is what all of this is based around. It comes down to farming gold, right? She's not going to earn much right now because we're only getting E65 gold. So having her in right now doesn't matter. You just kind of, if you're trying to maximize the paid up front bonus, you put her in when you're Azaka farming to raise this number. And then she's just going to consistently put out a solid bonus based off the other things she's doing. That's Morgane. I'll just leave her out there. Crew Alex, I've got Talon, Regis, or Shandy offered. Shandy. Get that speed, champ. Virushex. How should one build Gaarawarr if you aren't using her for speed? It's still usually the right-hand spec. So it's called Battlemaster. Battlemaster. And then you have to pay attention to what imps she has out. And you'll swap them around because her imps give different effects under Leadership Summit and Fiendish Resolve. So depending on what you're doing, you can optimize by hot swapping the imps. And she also just got a recent new effect. Sister increase the effect of Gaarawarr's Leadership Summit by 200% when Farida's in the formation. So that's a new thing. Trying to give her a little more of a bond. But, yeah, if you're going to rotate the imp, you need to rotate the imps based off the target. I mean, you could just generically leave it, but if you want every little bit of damage you can get again in the different situations, so you're really trying to push as far as you can, you'll have to rotate through the imps. Also, the only reason you would want to go in Speedy Sacrifice is if you're doing Gaarawarr shenanigans with her slow. So her ultimate, when the imps explode on an enemy, they slow in an AoE. That slow stacks with itself. So the more times you explode the imp on an enemy, the slower that enemy moves. And eventually it stops moving completely. And then you can push it back from the formation with like an Ashara ultimate. And then it never touches you again. So it's a way, that's usually used more for Azaka farming. You can freeze one enemy, move it away from your formation, and then do whatever you want with your formation, and you never have to worry about getting damaged. Carillion 1, Warden or Artemis for a free time gate. I'm leaning more towards Artemis, so everybody has Artemis when they get Orkira for Orkira stacking. So I mean, either one really works. Either one are solid options, but yeah. Vorshin, Wolfgar or Neris? Neris. Noble 6, Keelik or Solis? Ooh. Keelik's a nice healer in 5, but Briv's also a healer in 5. And Calliope exists as a shielder in 5. So I tend to not use Keelik a whole lot unless I can't use either of the others. I have used Solis a lot lately in some high-level variants that just didn't give me any tank options. And I've rocked Solis. So either one. Really look at what you need for split the party. If you're still doing, if you haven't done one or you haven't done two, if you've done both of them, then yeah, figure out what you feel like you're needing more in your patron variants. Moodalorn, Ayla and Rack or Nox? Ayla. Ayla, in my opinion, number 1 tank in the game. Has that aforementioned uncapped, well, it's capped, but it should be capped lower. Uncapped shielding mechanic. It capped it at 100 enemies, which is 1,000% of her health. But Wolfgar and Calliope both cap their shields at 200% of your health, which, I mean, the devs made that change to 200% because they thought shields were broken, and then they just didn't bother changing Ayla. And I didn't bother giving that cap to Ayla, and didn't change Tyrell either, so here we are with the Ayla Tyrell Super Tank combo. How do you get more time gate pieces? Mario Punch 88. There is now a blessing in the game that will double the dropped time gate pieces. Where'd they put it? Did they put it up here? Is it what? No. Is it in here? No. It was over here? Yes. Tomb of Annihilation, Tier 5. Turn back. If I could turn back, turn. I'm old. Time gate pieces dropped by bosses +1 over all campaigns. So what that means is when you get that weekly time gate piece, or roughly every 5 or 6 days or whatever, when it drops, it's actually going to drop 2 for you. That's one way to get more. The other is patrons. So as you unlock each patron and earn access to their shop, one of the things you can buy is each week you can buy 1 time gate piece. So right now, as the game sits, if you have all 4 patrons open and you qualify to buy each of their time gate pieces, you can get 6 a week and run 1 time gate a week with time gate pieces. I did that one. Gomeng. I only have the last event heroes unlocked. Any of the time gate heroes that can batter my core 12 plus 3 champ? Yeah, lots of them. I need to know what options you were given, Gomeng. And you should put the options in chat, and the mod will get it, and I'll get to him in a bit. Bear MJ or Kira Ayla or Barrowin for the free time gate. I mean, that's got 2 real strong champions in it. I'm still gonna say Orkira first. Because I feel like you don't necessarily need the strength of Ayla right away, but it's gonna be nice later. So yeah, Orkira first. Codeforge, where do you suggest a player be power-wise before focusing on patrons? I don't. I don't know. I think I have a new player reference that's on the Reddit, and I need to update it this weekend with the Rhea Reborn stuff for Avernus. But I've just played through on my Epic Game Store account. I've just played through following that and updating it as I went, unlocking patrons along the way, and I've never really stopped to focus on them. But I did some stuff with them. But it wasn't. I feel like until you have like, because I think you just go through the evergreens and you unlock each of the evergreens in order, and once you have them all, then you're kind of like, okay, well now I have to do. Now I'm in the patron part of the game. That's where the main content and power is going to come from. So yeah, I would say follow that guide. It's kind of, I built it around a milestone system, and you'll be doing some patrons along the way, but they don't become your focus until you've done all the stuff in all the campaigns. Base Maverick, Ishi, Neris, or Jaheira? already have Baloth and Sentry in slot 3 and Zorbu in 12. I mean, if you need another in, if you need Jaheira's, what is? Wait, is she? She's. Oh, she's 4. Dang, they gave you 2 options in the same slot. I hate it when they do that. Well, you already have 2 options in 3. If you only have 1 in 12, you should be picking up Ashara, or Azaka, excuse me, Azaka for free. So that means you're just going to pick the most useful here, and I would think it's either Neris or Jaheira. Probably Neris. Neris. You already have Baloth, so go Neris. 17's upon. Celeste seems so solid in her slot to tank. Is Penelope a good slot pickup? I use Penelope a lot, especially when I'm running Ashara. She's usually in there for my, I like the short folk bond. So I think so, yeah. Dunin, if I have a choice between a less than ideal champion and a champion that I haven't gotten full epic gear yet, and I have over 150 time gate pieces, would it make sense to take the time gate for the other champion to get them to full epic, rather than take the less than ideal champion? My concern is that I have a handful of champions who need epics, and if I try to get some epic gear from patron chests, the less than ideal champion would be added to the pool for 3 of the patrons. Yeah, I mean, that's you've got the reasoning right. You can make that reasoning for yourself if that feels good. I mean, you're specifically talking about Ishii, and yeah, I don't necessarily think Ishii has a place in the current meta. She's fun to use if you enjoy that, but if you're really trying to get epics, don't dilute your pool. If you're to the point where if you can do everything else yet, you have 150 time gate pieces, you can do everything else, basically. Then yeah, there's no need to dilute your pool right now. You can just go for epics. What is Paulton used for? Paulton is a buffer. Paulton is a support Goldfind champion, so he is an option in slot 4 that you can use to not only get you some Goldfind, but also to get you a buff. He's also a super secret DPS, which is, Hitch is now a super secret DPS, and usually if you need a super secret DPS, you're going with Hitch, but Paulton can also work as well, despite not getting his own buff. It's interesting. Jumbalolo, once you cap out your champion's click levels, how do you make it past that? You'd switch it from upgrade over to one of these other numbers. So if you're only on upgrade, you got to switch it to one of the ones that'll let you just buy levels in it. Now keep in mind, the only levels that are worth buying are the ones in your over the soft cap, are the ones on your DPS, really. It provides a small heal for everyone, but all it does is increase the damage a little bit, and it's so that it only really matters on your DPS. Teeny Human, Brunor. This makes no sense. Brunor, Nieli, or Hitch in a time gate. Brunor is not who's in your time gate. I have a feeling it's Binwin. Binwin. No, that's not even... Brunor, Nieli, or Hitch. What are you... Teeny Human, what are you asking? None of these champions... None of these champions are in a time gate. You're just trolling me. So I guess I'm just going to ignore your questions because you trolled me, and I'll ignore all your questions for the rest of the stream. That's a fair punishment, right? They didn't troll me as much as they trolled the mods, and that's kind of rude. We're here to help you. Don't troll us. Everyday J, Narak, Jim, or Baloth? Baloth. Yeah, Baloth. 2P13, should I pick Ishii or Jaheira for the time gate? Jaheira. Yeah, Jaheira. Gnarl78, if you have a blue shiny item and it upgrades to purple, do you keep the shiny? Yes. Gilding and rarity are separate, so you keep all the stuff when it comes to items. It's just, it applies the highest. So you keep your item levels, you keep your rarity, you keep your gilding as you move around. All right, Teeny Human, I'm just saying, like, it's funny to joke, but just make sure that the mods know you're joking. It's because, yeah, they're busy. Like right now here, I've answered 78 questions so far. The list is into the high 90s, so they're working real hard for all of you folks. Now, Somerville, I may just tell the mods to time out people who are putting in fake questions now. I mean, that feels fair, right? Sizemus just got Korth in my time gate today. Know almost nothing about him. From what I've read so far, he seems to be a side grade from the other champions I haven't seen C2. How when to use Korth in your formations? I mean, use Korth when you can't use the others. That's kind of how having lots of options work, right? Korth really wants to work with someone who does AoE damage, because Korth works off a marked system where he marks marks an enemy when he hits them, and then if you hit that enemy, you get bonuses. Which is hard to do if there's a stack of enemies in front of you and you're a single target champion. A multi-target has a little better chance, but an AoE target is, guaranteed. So yeah, Korth's better, I feel like, with AoEs. So somebody like Zorbu or Binwin, right? Or a Dahani in the middle spec. If they can make sure they're hitting the marked targets, then they get the bonuses, and then Korth is really nice. But if you can't guarantee you're hitting the marked targets, then Korth is doing not much for you. Like, you're not getting the whole bonus that comes off of. There are multiple bonuses that come off that. But Korth likes to either be, depending on which spec you choose, Korth either wants to be adjacent to your DPS or non-adjacent to your DPS. That's really the only decision making you got to make there. Razor 2, I try to beat On the Hunt, and I really don't. I already know where this is going. I really don't get how the game behaves here. Come to 216 and hit the wall. I'm on E48 with Mints, Kevlar, Dinar, Calliope with epic potions. Putting the green and the blue pots. Still no damage to enemies at all. Tried different formations. Had to go back to 182. Put Gromley back in. Waited 1.5 hours and then damage was back. Rushed to 216 again. Even my potions were gone and Gromley gone. Wall again. Yeah, you're doing the wrong thing. I knew where this is going right away. On the Hunt is a variant where you need to use a very specific play style that's called bud spiking. Some people use this term in lots of ways that it does not apply to. So let me be very clear here. On the Hunt is a variant where the further you get, the more slots in your formation you lose. So that's the fewer champions you have. However, you can game this by going back to level 1, where you had the maximum number of slots. And it will let you build out a full formation again. And what you do is you make sure there aren't any familiars on the field on level 1. You build out your full formation, but with all the gold that you collected on level 216, or wherever you are, ramp everyone up, build out a proper formation, get a really high bud level, pop a fire breath potion. It's not about the giant strength. Giant strength can help you a little bit, but this is all about fire breath potions. So you pop the fire breath potion, you turn auto progress back on, and put your familiars on the field, and your familiars will fire breath burn their way as far as that bud spike takes you. So you spike your bud on level 1, save that formation there, jump back up auto progress, load in the formation that has all your familiars, make sure you got a fire breath potion on, and then just fire breath click through everything. And you ride that bud spike out, and it'll just drop and drop and drop, and eventually you won't be able to click anything again. Well, you drop back to level 1, you upgrade your champions again, that full formation, set an even higher bud, do it again, and you rinse and repeat until you're done. Yeah, things like that where you're losing formation slots, they're not about trying to power through with no champions. They're all about using your bud to spike damage in combination with a fire breath potion and burn your way through to the end. So this is something that happens to a lot of people. They they haven't learned how to bud spike yet. They don't understand necessarily that that's what you're supposed to do in that situation. So it's not something, you got to feel bad about or anything. This is just standard learning how to play idle champions. I swapped one of my champions out because we kind of hit a wall. I want to get to 700. 700, I'll have 7 silvers. I'll be done with the 2 main adventures. I don't need to go further. Technically, I could push in a time gate. I could push like to 1100. I don't need that many silvers for Lucius. Henry Lonewind, what's with the game resetting its settings on every start nowadays? This is an Epic Game Store issue. I haven't had the issue on Steam, but I have it on Epic. Submit a ticket. Say I'm on Epic. Every time I restart the game, my settings, some of my settings, not all of them, some of them reset. It's resolution, it's UI scaling, and it's narrow bench boxes for me. Those are the only things that reset. Super annoying. Super annoying. Maybe they fixed it, but yeah, I've run into that last couple days. Mousepad guy, Birdsong, Paulton, or Esmeralda. Not Esmeralda because she's coming to the next event. So Birdsong or Paulton, I feel is a toss-up. I've used Paulton more than Birdsong in the last year. So, yeah. It turns on console portraits too. Oh, okay. I just have console portraits on, so I didn't notice it changes back to that. That's the default. I think what it's doing is it's defaulting those 4 settings, potentially then. Eladorn, my level 1 Black Viper just did E50 more damage than my level 1700 plus Zorbu. I assume this is related to Cthulhu. It's not related to Cthulhu. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, you have Cthulhu in. So here's the fun thing with Cthulhu. Let's throw Cthulhu in. Cthulhu summons a demon called Grave of Men. And when he does, it gives you lots of damage. So here's what it does. Collect bonus coins to summon a demon that massively buffs the damage of your lowest damage champion for 30 seconds. So what it does is it buffs it up to the point of whatever your highest damage champion is doing, and suddenly your lowest damage champion becomes your highest damage champion for a short period of time. Which is fine. Because really it's basing it off of what your highest damage champion is doing. It's just an interesting interaction. That's why when you run a full C-team combination, Rosie's never the one doing setting Bud. Because it's always whoever has the demon. It's just how Cthulhu works. Yeah, for a second there, I thought something was broken, but then I realized, oh yeah, Cthulhu is demon. Noobles, I really like Tahani. What are your thoughts? I think she's neat. I need to sit down and farm her layers. Yeah. But I like things that are new and different. I like a new iteration on permanent stacks. Oh, hey, we flew past 700, so let me complete this. I'm not worried about getting to 800 or anything. And then what I do is when I go into... Now all I have left is this variant, right? You get one of the 3 variants from their event. Now when I get here... oh, wait, let's swap... that for Bedouin. Now I just want to race through this, and once I get to 175, I'll peace out. I don't need to do anything past that. Snobbager, kind of a time gate question. Having Mahen and Havilar, is it worth getting Farida to build a formation with the 3 of them? It certainly seems like that doesn't supplant the Ashara meta. Farida is a really, in my opinion, really fantastic optional DPS, right? I use her a lot if I can. It'll be interesting to see with the change to like the sister buffs that they both have, if that helps a little with her DPS. I don't need her to become the new Ashara meta. I just want her to be a little more solid. Because with Bud, your Bud is based off your base attack, but Farida's damage is based off her true damage. Her true wave clear damage is built off Hellish Rebuke, which doesn't set Bud. So yeah. So she's gotten a little more damage, but yeah, I like it. I mean, I like using them personally. I don't. I think somebody had a question about tier lists that I saw out of the corner of my eye. I don't do tier lists anymore. I have no desire to do them. But she's in the in my groupings are like there's overpowered, there's underpowered, and then there's everyone else, and she's solidly in everyone else. Where she is in there, I don't know. Plain stereo, do background calculations stop after a while? I keep getting home to parties at around 200. While time spent-wise, this should be at 300 plus if you count area per minute. Well, if you have trouble clearing areas, the simulation starts slowing down. So that would be the first thing to look at. If you have trouble clearing area, if you can't clear the area in 60 seconds, the simulation starts stretching the time out. They've added a new feature to background party and offline calculation. When you swap in, it tells you why you stopped, if you stopped, and how long you've been idling there. It's still not accurate, though, and they know, and they're looking into it, but they're moving in the right direction. Havoic, Xander, Korth, or Esmeralda? Korth. Esmeralda's coming in the next event. Xander's in the game. Korth. Seeker Sublime, why do you upgrade X100 and no next upgrade? Because I have way too much gold find usually when I'm running, so it doesn't matter. Normally, if I'm trying to be super optimal about my gameplay, I will put it on upgrade. But if I don't care, and in this case, I'm just doing a time gate, and for me, I have way more power than I need to do this time gate, I just put it on X100 and I leave it. On my new player account, I'm much more thrifty with my gold, and I will leave it on upgrade. Sierra Echo, I'm curious, how's your damage balanced on your run? I've got 99% of my team's damage coming from Jarlaxle. So that's the way it works. Scraping along at a lowly 71%, I don't know, whatever. So it's a fairly new game. Yeah, the game is built around all of your damage coming from one champion. So if you're only at 99%, you got to work on that other 1%. Get him up to 100. Get him up to 100. Yeah, no, I mean, it's 99.9999 and whatever. But yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work. You're supposed to build your formation around buffs pointing at what I refer to as your primary DPS. Point them all in that direction and let them do all the damages. Cyrus Black, is Havilar's slow effect sticky? Does it remain if she is swapped out? I think so. Yes. Because I don't leave her in after I've frozen an enemy in an Azaka farm. I pull her out and I put somebody else in. So yeah. Somerville, can you show us how to build an Artemis formation? I heard he's really great. This is not a great... Not in this. Not in this variant. No. I can't. However, I did do a tutorial show called Gaarawarr's Guide to Advanced Formation Strategies. It's up on the CNE Games YouTube channel. And those advanced formation strategies I was specifically referring to are Archon and Artemis formation building. So you can find a very specific breakdown of those two, because they don't they work differently as a DPS than other DPS champions in terms of how you build around them. So you can find more information on that there. But yeah, in this variant, I really can't. But the key takeaway for Artemis is that he can observe buffs that not only go to him, but to other DPS champions in the formation. So you actually do want to run him with other DPS champions. Ideally, that's champions that are tagged DPS/support, so that you can get support buffs while having them in there, but there's just not a lot of those in the game. But he wants positional formation abilities, so you don't want things that, he works better with things that aren't raises the damage of all champions. He wants things like raises the damage of champions in the two columns behind you. He wants those kinds of things. I believe there's a big thread going on about Nerds X Artemis in the tavern in the Discord, maybe? I've stayed out of it. I don't want to know. Nerds, apparently, because Nerds has multiple positional formation abilities, Nerds and Artemis get along. Athcoids, once you get the chest, is there a reason to run the free play and time gates? No, not really. Again, if you think, so I got to 725. I think we saw that I got that far. if you think that you could get to 800 pretty easily, then it might be worth you going in and grabbing one more. If you think it's really easy to push and grab that extra one, go grab it, right? Or if you were at like 275 when you on the last push, but you think now that you have the with the more favor you could get to 300, do it. But otherwise, it's not worth doing tons of free plays just to try to get like one more silver. Agarid or Agerid? I don't know which I don't know how we're pronouncing the G there. Okay, been away from the game for 62 weeks, according to the newsletter. Can I make a Kobold and Dragonborn party now? There's more Kobolds now, and there's more Dragonborn, but not full parties. Also, if you have all those 62 weeks worth of newsletters, put them all in. They all still work. Newsletter codes never expire, so you can grab all those chests. All of them. All right, I finished. Yeah, that's a nice thing. Sign up for the newsletter. Even if you take the break after a while, make sure you don't delete those newsletters and benefit when you come back. Because you'll come back. No. So I'm closing my gate early because I got all the things I wanted. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to open up another gate because I need that Dahani. I need that. Where's... I scrolled past Dahani. You know what? Let's do it this way. Item level. Other way. Bam. Oh, I want to point something out, folks. There is a problem with the time gate sorting here. Time to event. Soonest available champions. It still lists Krond and Dinar. It's listing year 1 and year 2 champions. They're not available in the next event. They are not available in the next event. This needs to be fixed. It needs to not count time gate only champions. Only Avern and Esmeralda are coming in the next event. So keep that in mind. It lists them in order. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So these first two, when it does this, are not coming in the next event. This has been another PSA. Boom. Let's do some Dahani. Stuff. I have to convert. I'm gonna commit. Well, hold on. What's my lowest? I've been spending a lot in my upgrades. Here, we'll go Helms. Upgrading my legendaries, so I need to make sure I convert and fill that back up again. Hour. I'm not even using the full hour. I probably shouldn't use an hour. I should probably use like 15 minutes. All right. Is there a way to switch which deity favor cost in the legendary forge for item upgrades? Yes, Nefarious, but you're not going to like it. You reforge the item. So, I mean, you're going to get a random bonus, but you're also going to get a different cost, a different deity cost. So you don't get to keep the same bonus. You could keep reforging until you get the bonus again and cross your fingers that it rotated to a new favor. But yeah, no. That's it. So, yeah. Cthulhu. I think I got a few more Hululus in there than should have been there. I had Mahen, Xander, Korth. Can you explain the super secret DPS features of Pult and Hitch, and are there any others like this? I mean, the super secret DPS is just that they're not DPS champions. They're tagged as support champions. But for whatever reason, their self-damage upgrades scale them pretty well. Hitch actually used to be a DPS. It used to be DPS support. They took the DPS tag off of him, adjusted some of his abilities. He actually came out with more DPS than he had before. They just took the tag off of him. And for whatever reason, Paulton is scaled well enough that despite not getting his own buff, he can do some damage. Now, is he going to beat a Shar or something? No. This isn't a situation where you're in a variant and you don't have any DPS options, but if you have Hitch or Paulton, know that you do have DPS options. They will DPS. Or if you're doing those patron challenges where it's a no DPS challenge, Hitch is usually the key there, but Paulton will work too. Elp Ivy 0214. Krull, Vlonir, Xander. Krull. He's pretty cool. Drayden VS. I know the old way was to use time gates to get the champs you don't have. Still. Does the device change with the forge systems? No. You wanting to get a purple to upgrade on a champ you use a lot? No. You still use time gates to get champs you don't have. You also still use time gates to get gear for champs. You also use patron chests to get gear, like to get epics on champs as well. So I use a mix of time gates and the patron chests to get epics. You just have to make sure each patron is going to have a pool of champions they'll drop gear for. So make sure you're opening the right ones for who you're trying to target. The legendary forge system you can only use on a champion that has a piece of epic gear. That's it. You could have champions with, whites, blues, or greens. If they don't have any epics on them, you can't target the legendary forge at them. They have to have an epic. It only targets epics. So you can't skip from lower rarities to legendary because you have to have an epic to gain the legendary bonus. Because it actually isn't a higher rarity. It's a separate effect. Jumbalola, so on Core Champions, when you open a chest, if you get a purple and you already have one, is that supposed to happen that it counts for your epic? Core Champions, you open it like, I'm assuming regular gold chests, and you get an epic item. That's your epic item. I mean, you got an epic item. That counts for your pity timer, yes. If it's a duplicate, that means you're full epic on your core and evergreen champions. That means you are full epic on core and evergreen champions. Now, you may have other champions that aren't full epic. Those are event champions or time gate champions. You have to get their gear in other ways. So that's kind of like a congratulations, you opened a gold chest and got a duplicate epic. That means you've got full epic on core and evergreen, and that's a fantastic milestone to get to. But yeah, that counts for your epic because you got an epic. That's the pity timer's only counting up until you get an epic. So yeah, you got it. And once you're full epic on core and evergreen, the pity timer on gold chests, it doesn't matter anymore. Until the next evergreen drops, which should be soon, folks. We had Icewind Dale Part 9 drop this week. And in the past, Part 10 is when we got an evergreen drop. But I don't know if that's going to maintain, but hopefully it does. Also, I don't think we talked about this fully. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. Join me tomorrow when we do Gaarawarr's Guide to the Trials of Mount Tiamat. Well, to the Idle Champions Presents the Trials of Mount Tiamat. We'll go over like the voting systems. Make sure you get your vote in. Make sure you claim your rewards if you haven't yet. You can go back and claim them. And remember, you don't even have to vote to claim rewards. Haha. Just go in and but voting's fun. Do your civic duty and vote in Idle Champions. Kalane, Briv, Ishir, Keelik, Briv. The OG Ulfin, Birdsong or Korth. Birdsong? Maybe either one. Probably Birdsong. The Lurking Rider, is Sintra really that much of a meta champion? I think so, because she's a speed champion. She reduces the number of things you need for quests at the top right by 30% if it's maxed out and it triggers. So works really well as a speed champion. Birthwitch, what display setting are you using to show all 12 champion slots and the clicker? So I went in under settings. I have 75% UI scale, but that's not necessary anymore. I mean, we can make that bigger. It doesn't matter. What it is down here is narrow bench boxes. So if I unclick narrow bench boxes and we go back, you'll see I have to scroll. But if I go back and I choose narrow bench boxes, at 75%, there's plenty of room, and I'll have, the last one's over here. It'll still show up when we get there, when I get enough gold for slot 12 to show up. Saberman, Doing whatever a saber man can. I've seen him jump to area 1 really quickly. How does one do that? Shift click. Shift click right here. Bam. Right? Like if I turn this off and I go shift click, I can just click down back to 1. Then I can turn auto progress back on. You can shift click either the other way too. But then you have to click on the level you want to jump to. Captain Idjit, between the recent charity stream and the votes, I've recently picked up Omen, Walnut, Strix, and Gaarawarr. Yeah, it's a lot of champions to learn at once. Can you give a brief rundown on them? Omen is a little flexible on who he's buffing, so watch what specialization you're picking. He's great in Azaka farming because the gold find, he'll hit a trigger through contractual obligations where he will increase gold find, and when he does, it rains gold. He's making it rain. It rains gold down on him like gold coins. That's how you know it's going off. Unless you're running speed potions, then the effect doesn't show up. Walnut's a tank / support. She only goes into tank mode when she's being attacked. She buffs based off you getting consistent kills. So, keep that in mind. Strix is a DPS, but also support with her debuff. She has a strong debuff, but the debuff only extends half the screen. So it doesn't work against some ranged enemies or fixed in place enemies like stationary enemies, but big on the debuff scene. Gaarawarr is a tank, but also a speed champion when you're against fiends, so double credit for your quests against fiends. Yeah, some shenanigans with the imps. That's kind of the brief rundown. 17's a pun. What are potions of specialization? I see no reference to specializations on characters. You do. That's when I'm leveling up a champion and this box pops. Oh, I don't have enough gold. I have it over here. Yes. And this box pops up there. Specialization. So you choose one of these to move forward. Well, once you choose one, if you want to change it, you use a potion of specialization. Tormentum. Neither are in my time gate, but I need champions in 6 and 7 to unlock split the party. I can only afford one manual, freely or crawl first. Ooh. If you're using a Shara meta already, go freely. If you're using anyone else for your DPS, go crawl. There you go. Water God 8, I'm new to the game. Should I go with War Domain or Life Domain for Celeste? That depends on where you place her. Celeste heals the column in front of her, so if you can put her in the column right behind the tanks, then you can, along with whoever else you need to be in there, then she'll be healing that front row. If you can't, and you need to place her 2 columns behind the tank, you go Life Domain. That's really the decision there. The damage bonus of 100% isn't worth, that's not what you need to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about, where are my heals going? Where am I going to put her so that I can get all the buffs I want while also healing my tank line, which is important when you're new. For Keelik to Dinar and Orkira, no. I prefer Dinar in general because Dinar can heal everyone, including himself. Orkira can't. Orkira can't heal herself, and she can't heal anyone next to her. So, in my opinion, Dinar is the better group healer. But in terms of total heals, the others do some solid healing, but I like being able to heal everyone, including themselves. Sarvaldar, how do the formation saves work? I tried saving some, putting it on the Modron core, and never seems to properly work. I mean, it's there, right? Like I have this formation saved. It loaded it in. Now, you have to have familiars. Just saving that formation doesn't buy the champions or level them up. What it does when you load it into your Modron is you're making sure that these are the champions that are showing up in the boxes at the bottom. And then the familiars buy them. And when they buy them, it loads into the formation slots based off the formation save. So you have to combine both of those automation mechanics, familiars, and your Modron core to load a save formation and have it work. Otherwise, you have to buy the champions manually, in which case the formation is loaded in. It will put them into the right places, and it will have the right ones selected down in the boxes. You'll just have to manually buy them. You'll just have to manually buy them. Razor says, thank you so much. Your explanation made me beat On the Hunt. You're welcome. Now just keep that in mind for, there are more variants like On the Hunt which do that. Just remember that's how you get past them. It's really easy once you learn that little bud spiking mechanic. It's really easy to get past them. Great Gobbo, how's the legendary tiefling boost? I haven't checked. Is there any per tiefling in there? I think so. I've got a guide for that, but I don't have it handy at the moment. I have Gaarawarr's Guide to the Legendary Forge System. I'm trying to pull it up as I talk, but off the top of my head, I don't. Hold on. Search Tiefling. Farida has a 95% for each Tiefling in the formation. Gaarawarr as Tiefling champions by 150%. Makos has Tiefling champions by 100%. Prudence has Tiefling champions by 150%. All of these were 150%, by the way. Shaka has that same one. So does Strix. So does Talon. Farida's the one, though, that's 95% for each Tiefling. For each Tiefling. Commander Xander. Sorry to be throwing so much shade your way this week, Commander. Does Frida's Hellish Rebuke get boosted by Narak's buff? Potentially? I don't know. Does she qualify? That's the question. Does she qualify? It's what, Wisdom 14? She's Wisdom 13? She has a Wisdom feat? She does. So yeah, that should work if you... Like I said, I think it's 14 gets the right focus. Hold on. I'm just double checking. Yeah. So if you put in that feat, but is that worth it? You make the call. Might be. Might be if you don't have anybody else to buff her with. Gets the right focus isn't a huge buff, but sometimes it's what you need. Vaxum. I don't have a large number of familiars. How would you prioritize their placement? So with 13, at the start of your run, 1 on click damage, 6 on the field. So that's 7. The other 6, if you're running like speed, you would put one like I'm doing here with the Phoenix on the speed button, because you're not going to have enough to manually update all of your champions. Right? Now, if you want to give up some of the features of having 6 on the field, you could drop down to, say, 3 on the field. Well, you'd run 6 on the field and 1 on click damage to start, manually upgrade some stuff. But then when you got into the champions, you could move, 9 down here, 9 or 10 down here to upgrade champions, and just put 3 on the field and maybe 1 roaming the ultimate bar. So there's some different combinations. You kind of got to figure out what you're trying to do with them. 13's a solid number, though. 13's a solid number to do a lot of stuff with. Message Duval, what's the best use for Regis? Ashara formation must-have? Well, I personally run short folk Ashara bonds. So for me, Regis is key to that, because he's got a great debuff for Ashara, and he's a short folk, so he's a strong short folk. Him and Freely and Penelope tend to be what I run. I might run Human, depending on what's going on, instead of Penelope. Just depends, but I just, those are the short folk that I aim for. So it really depends on kind of what, if you have all those, and if you're going to do that, to me, that's the best setup, but doesn't mean I'm right in all cases. Saberman, what's the best way to get to area 1K for the achievements? I can't push past 750. Keep getting power. Keep working on like maxing out all the blessings, getting all the perks from the patrons, leveling up your Modron core, and getting the flow to full epic, working on your gear. You need all of these things to be able to get to 1,000. Ashara is the current meta for getting there with a pushing formation. There's also click debuff, if you have the champions for that. That relies on a lot of Azaka farming. Riffraff, I understand you need to complete Avernus. 4? I mean, that's for Trials of Mount Tiamat. Maybe is that what we're talking about? What favor is needed to do that? Ooh. I want to say on my newest account, I had like E28 or E29. Basically all of it. You want to get as much as you can. But I completed El Terrell's Last Stand recently on my new player account with like E28, E29. There's highlights of that on my Twitch channel down below, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr. I also unlocked Rhea Reborn. I also completed Rhea Reborn with that. So that's... I know you can do it E28, E29. But that's with the champions that I had. Like a level 3 Modron core. But yeah, you want as much as you can get. You want as much as you can get. Easeldaf, would you go with Ishii or Melf? Melf. Melf's a speed champion and a support champion. Solid slot 12. Pick for speed. Dan's. Corellian's favor while behind the Witchlight favor for legendary upgrades. Has anyone gotten that yet, or is it not in the pool? I don't know. I mean, it might not be because it's brand new, but I don't know. I don't know that I've seen it yet. But honestly, I haven't really paid attention to what favor I end up pulling from for my upgrades. Because I've got a lot of favor everywhere, and I can just go earn some more. I can just go earn some more. I wasn't one of those people that like really overstacked their favor, so it's pretty easy for me to go back and earn it everywhere except for maybe Torm. St. Isidore, I have Freely or Keelik and only just finished Split the Party. Who should I choose? Freely. Freely's best in their slot. Coming. Free to Binwin or Morgaine. Okay. Morgaine's a solid support champion. Farita's a good DPS option. So one of those two. One of those two. So in the current meta, Ashar is pretty strong, so you might just want to pick Morgaine. It's going to be a while until... Morgaine's a higher slot support, so it's going to be a while before you get there, but yeah. Right now you're focusing, if you're new, you're focusing on to split the party, so fill in whatever slot you need to get an extra champion in each slot. Graydon, I think I missed it earlier, so if this doesn't get in the queue, that's on me. Well, that's fine. Free time get unlock Birdsong or get chests for Keelik or Morgaine? I mean, I would, if the choice is between getting Birdsong and you don't have them, or just chests for two champs you have, I would say just get Birdsong. Birdsong is useful as a support champion. Sarvaldar, so normally I don't sign up for newsletters, but I finally did for this game. When do the newsletters come out? Today. They usually start coming out around noon. It's going to take a while to get to you if you just signed up recently. So, you know, by the end of business today, you should get them. When does Hitch unlock? Well, once you've signed up for the newsletter and they send you, it's going to be a little while because this is newsletter day, but they'll send you an email with a code for Hitch. Unless you're on like a console where it just unlocks automatically, but I don't know how that works. I don't have a console. Silly closed captions. There we go. I only have a few minutes left, folks. I'm well over 100 questions. Let's see how many we can get. Valdemar Night Road just unlocked Patron Mert. Congrats. Is the 3-time gate piece and 10 silver chest cost one time or recurring? One time. One time only. One time only access costs. One time only. Logos Games. Krull or Korth? Krull. Krull. KB Martinson, of the 3 champions we get in the time gate, I got none of them. I assume you own none of them. Okay, I reset the captions. It's... yeah. One day, Web Captioner will do an update that fixes these issues. Yeah, if you don't own any of them... Is there any of them that is like the best or better than the rest of... Yeah, I need... KB Martinson, I need you to tell me what 3 you were given. Because everyone gets a unique 3 options. I mean, some people will get the same because statistics. But... yours are unique to you. I need to know which 3 you got, and then I'll tell you which one sounds like the best. Sarvaldar, what's the best way to get familiars? I mean, you get some out of gems. You get some out of the patron shop. There's one from each patron. Outside of that, it's cash. It's cash. It's watching the store for sales. Ensign Garrick, I have a choice to make this time: Morgaine or Neris? Morgaine. Morgaine's more flexible. Cube Mischief, why is my new gem floating along in a box with his name with tentacles? Should I be worried? That means your formation is under attack. Your formation is under attack. That's when he goes in his hidey box. Kudag, Firefist, Stokey, Ayla, or Penelope? Ayla. Oh my gosh, you're getting Ayla on your first time gate. Yeah, enjoy. Nakoa, or Kira, or Regis? Or Kira. Or Kira, yeah. Definitely or Kira. That's 130 questions today, folks. I earned the rest of my root beer today. Yeah, that's a lot of questions. That's a lot of questions. Is that a new record? It might be for a 2-hour show. I know once we did like 4 hours. We did like a double show. And I know it was like 175 or something like that. Oh yeah, that answering that question was 131. Oh boy. Captions probably fell over from all the names I've been saying. Probably. Well, so the caption program does what it can, but occasionally there was a patch a while back that's for using it for different reasons. That sometimes they slide over a little bit, and then sometimes it freezes it so you can slide back up and down if you need to see stuff. But I don't need that. Garbled for life. Bardic Inspiration is free, but I can't buy it on Steam. I think if you repatch Steam today, I found it on Steam. It's just free. It just says like play it. And if you click play, it doesn't give you a buy option. If you click play, it downloads it and then it'll be on your computer so you can use it in other places. It's also in the game. If you go over here, scroll down, it's down here. Idle Champions theme song. It's so good, folks. So good. Ryan the Wise, is it possible to pass levels with your party in idle mode that you cannot pass in active mode? You mean like offline? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes the mechanics that are going on get turned off. Jumbalolo, any hints or drops on Jason Miller's characters? Well, we went over it today. It's Brig Hellclaw. The blog is up. The mods just linked it to you. So you can read up there. How far should I push a time gate adventure? Is it worth holding after the adventure completes? Like once you've... Yes, like I did it today. I go as far as I can, as quickly as possible, grab as much as I can, and then I bail. But it's based off how far you can push, right? And that's it, folks. We're going to head out. Remember, tomorrow, Gaarawarr's Guide to Idle Champions presents, 9 a.m. Pacific. We'll have a lot of Q&A time tomorrow as well. So join me there. We're going to go out on Ode to Warduke. Have a great day, everybody.
By his name, only by his sort of fame. Red eyes glowing in the dark. No, he'll never miss his mark. Winged helm of darkness blazing in the night. Nightmares sleep beneath him, yearning for a fight. It's Warduke, watch out, he's coming for you. It's Warduke. and the mess he makes. Once the friend of old strong heart, the evil ways tore them apart. Hearts don't make